Hi all, it's JK here with another video. It's a test drive video of the BMW M2 finally. Not even fired it up yet, so obviously it's going to be my feedback on the car. How's it feel at motorway speed, B roads more importantly, and just pottering about. So let's go. So while the car's warming up and before we get to this... I'm going to go over the options. So this car has got the Harman Kardon sound system. It's got the heated seats. It's got sun protection glass, and it's got folding mirrors. Those options are approximately £1,400. It's got parking sensors, and the satellite navigation system are a standard. Also, this particular vehicle comes with 5 years service plan, which was a cost of £800. Apparently it's gone up now to £1,000 and you only get 3 years for that, so he did well there. It's £1,000 deposit for when you make the order, and the running service, which is at 1,200 miles, which involves the gearbox oil change, the engine oil change and the rear diff oil change, was a cost of £300. And then the first service is at 14,000 miles. Not sure what a service cost is because, as I say, he bought the service pack. Road tax on this vehicle is £500. Insurance for this guy, he lives in a city with quite a high crime rate regarding carjackings and whatnot, and he's paying £560. And he went for the gap insurance for 3 years, which was 220 quid. So yeah, there's some food for thought for you there. Seems well refined for an M car, doing 70 miles an hour at a minute on a dual carriageway, and can't really notice any wind noise. You can hear the tyre noise, but it's not particularly loud. I think it's slightly louder than the Golf R, which I'd expect because this is obviously a more hardcore car, where the Golf R is more an everyday all-rounder. This is probably more a track weapon. But in comfort mode at the minute, and it seems civilised to me. Nice and quiet. You could certainly be sat in here with your family, with the kids in the back. There's plenty of room in the back seat as well. I've had a quick look. So yeah, as a regular car, it certainly rides well. It's comfy. The suspension doesn't seem too firm. The seats are nice and comfy, very soft. You can alter the seats as well so that they hug you tighter, which is a nice feature. Now, a lot of complaints and reviews are the interior. The interior seems a bit cheap and tacky. Now, that was the same argument against the Ford Focus RS as well. And I'll say here what I said there. That doesn't bother me. It might bother you. You might be buying an M2 for a daily driver. I don't know why you would, but that's the only time it should really bother you is if you buy a car like this as a daily. You know, what your opinion of the interior should matter then, in my opinion, obviously. And to me, if this was a daily driver, which it never would be, but if I did buy it as a daily driver, I could live with this interior. I'm quite happy with it.
I'm confident that.
Very nice. Oh, that sounds awesome. This is in sport mode, by the way. Yes, she ticked in there. Obviously the BMW is not four-wheel drive, it's rear-wheel drive, so you can't really do what you can do in a Golf R, where you can literally throw it into a corner and put the power down. Do that in this car with traction control off and you'll end up in a ditch. The other thing worth bearing in mind is that a set of rear tyres for this car are 265 quid each, and the fronts are 245 quid each. Shopping around you may get cheaper, I don't know, but BMW tyres are always expensive, so that's another reason not to keep flooring it into a roundabout. So yeah, when you floor it and then you go down, you downshift, it gives an exhaust blip, which is really nice. I like that feature. Those cylinders sound amazing. 6-cylinder, very nice. Right, so we're in sport mode now. We're in a bit of a B road, and it feels very nice indeed. This is a smooth B road. We'll be going over a bit of a rougher B road shortly, where I've taken my R. Yeah, a bit of a blip there. Fantastic. Brakes.
Perfect road snap for it.
Oh, fantastic. It handles really well. It's smooth as silk. And very nice, basically. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to test drive the 240. Syntner's Nottingham did have a 240 in, but it was automatic and it was convertible, so I wasn't interested. Lincoln as well, they had a 235 in, but again it was automatic, so I wanted to test drive a manual, so that's a shame. Apparently they've all sold out. I do know that the 240 has been reduced quite a lot. I think they're not 20% off. But speaking to both dealers, I said, look, tell me straight, what do I go for, the M2 or the 240? And they said without blinking, go for the M2. In their opinion, the M2 is a more hardcore drive, whereas the 240i is more a daily driver. But I can tell you now, puttering around at 30 miles an hour behind this Mercedes, this car feels like a daily driver. And bear in mind, we're in sport mode at the minute. The other mode we're going to try is Sport Mode Plus. The steering feedback to me seems pretty good. Now it is artificial, but that doesn't really bother me, to be honest with you. And going back a few years and just dragging in the EP3 Type R, which is a very strange thing to do when we're driving a car like this, one of the complaints in that car was, with the chassis, it didn't allow a feedback. The feedback from the road and from the steering wheel was none. Yeah, that's true, but I never felt that spoilt the fun. So to me, feedback is more a track thing. It's not really a daily thing. But the feedback in this, it does feel really good. Very good. In fact, you wouldn't know it was artificial. I can feel every bump, every grind. I can feel it. Up to 60 within the blink of an eye. Now, power delivery feels the same as the Golf. Obviously, this car has 300, if I remember correctly, is it 360 pounds of torque? 0 to 60 in the manual is 4.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's the same speed as the Ford Focus RS. Now, I can tell you straight away, I prefer this car to the Ford Focus RS, absolutely. Bit of a wheel spin there, which I'm not used to. The gear shifts are fantastic. I really like them. They're obviously not that slick, but they're to the point. They could be shorter, I think, but ultimately, yeah, this is a cracking car. It is definitely worth waiting for, I think. Now the question is, how does it compare right on the brakes, because there's a bit of a rough surface there. How would it compare with the M240? Now this is where I'm coming back to you guys in the comments. Does anybody know, has anyone driven both cars? Can you let us know what you think? Because this car is fantastic fun. Bear in mind, I've got the electronic stability control in and I'm not going to take it off. Really good on cornering. You can feel the power from the rear. The sound is just fantastic. Now obviously there is slight artificialness to the sound, but you know, as with the Golf R, nobody's really bothered about that, but this really is 6 cylinders and a fantastic turbo doing what they do. And you know, because the car is very well refined, as I said earlier, on the motorway drive or the dual carriageway drive, you do need some artificial feedback in sound, because refinement is cutting out noise. And you know, that's the double-edged sword with being in a refined car.
That's what
This is a second gear. Fantastic grip, great feedback through the steering wheel. Now I can tell I'm on a bit of a rough B road, keeping an eye on the speed. If only this was the Autobahn. That's all I can say. Brakes are fantastic. That's the ventilated disc, which are basically track discs. Yeah, this car is fantastic. I really like this car. And
Now, remember a few videos ago I was asking would I replace the Golf R with this car? After test driving this, yeah, I would. This would be a suitable replacement for a Golf R. Obviously, a lot of you are going to say, well, what about a Porsche? What about a Mercedes? They're going to have to be test driven. Simple as that. But yeah, it's what they've done with this car is quite interesting. Now, it is obviously a track car, and it is obviously a B-road monster, but it does do the daily driver thing as well. And using this gearbox, you know, the manual, this isn't a DCT, it's a manual, it doesn't really bother me. You know, I would go for the M2 in manual form, definitely. The extra input required from the driver, you know, I have missed that. I do love DSG, don't get me wrong, and where I'm pottering around in a city, where I'm pottering around on a B-road action with the DSG is fun, but ultimately the old school manual is where it really is. It is at, and a lot of you are going to say, well, you know, but DCT, it uses the power more efficiently. But ultimately, what I thought an M car was about it was about being raw, and it was about being more, you know, the emphasis being put back to you, the driver, not just the car doing all the work. I mean, listen to that sound. Fantastic.
Let's get the window down a bit. So.
Yeah, you're going to get the window down.
Do you know when you...
That's with the window down. Fantastic. So yeah, for those of you that can afford it, for those of you that have got a Golf R or an S3 or even a Ford Focus RS, this car is definitely better than the Ford Focus RS in my opinion. It's got 6 cylinders. I can hardly know, I can't tell any turbo lag. I haven't pulled away from standstill yet, but we'll turn around and go back now, I think. But I have not noticed any turbo lag in this car. So ultimately, yeah, it's a suitable Golf R replacement. Oh, the mirrors come down as well. Just gone into reverse, and just like the Golf R, the left mirrors come down. No, you'd be very happy to replace your Golf R with this car, absolutely you would. Bit of mud here. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's a very easy car to drive as well. Bear in mind, the Golf R is, you know, does all the work for you. It's 4-wheel drive. This is a proper driver's car, in my opinion. And it's a car. If you look at the M4, for example, if you look at on Autogeo for the M4, there's a lot of Cat Ds, and I can imagine that being the case with this car as well. It is the sort of car where you do need to know what you're doing. Speaking to the owner of this car, the 18-month thing isn't necessarily true. You do get cancellations. He was fortunate enough to... Oh, we've got a BMW spotter here. He's here spotting me and my... Yeah, he's pleased. They're both very happy. But yeah, he actually got this car within 10 months of putting a deposit down. So the 18-month thing, there are cancellations. So yeah, you don't need to worry about that either, really. It's not that long of a wait, and it is worth the wait. This car is fantastic. Obviously, I'm going to still try and do the 240, but like I said to you, the BMW dealers, they said to me straight, just go for the M2. It's a more hardcore car, but it will do the daily driver thing. And you know, here we are doing 30 miles an hour. I feel relaxed, I feel comfortable. The interior, is it as nice as it could be? Possibly not, but look at what you're getting for your money. You're getting 44,000 odd pounds. You're getting a very, very nice M car. It's being argued that this is possibly the best M car ever made. Who am I to argue? I'd love to test drive the 1M and compare it with this car, but you know, when you get a BMW M car, it doesn't really get much better than that. You do have to spend probably double the money. Okay, so now we're in Sports Plus, which we totally forgot about.
Enough space.
Straight up to 16 second gear. Oh, look at him, he would have liked had to have tagged along, wouldn't it? So with Sport Plus then, it's a case of the electronic stability control is switched off, and it becomes a lot more tail happy. With it being a dry day, we haven't noticed that, but I do notice that you do seem to have a lot less traction. I won't kill your tyres.
That's it.
What a car. Yeah, this could easily, you know, you could easily replace a Golf R with this. Now, that being said, right, what it doesn't make me want to do is, it doesn't make me want to sell my Golf R today, which is interesting. So what that means is, to me, it means you've come to a point with the Golf R where power delivery and grip are concerned, where it is literally down to things such as little things, you know, like sound with the 6 cylinders, the steering feedback. There seems to be more feedback with this than the Golf, yeah, it's difficult. Is it worth the asking price over the Golf R? I would say it is. But that's because it ticks my boxes. It's got 2 additional cylinders, it's rear wheel drive, it's less practical than the Golf. So again, it comes down to your personal opinion and what you ultimately want. And so yeah, to conclude, because we've done the dual carriageway, we've done a 30-mile-an-hour potter, and we've done B-road sprinting, and we've even done a bit of B-road sprinting with the traction control off. To conclude, it's a case of I would choose this car over the Golf R. Obviously, what will come next is I will test drive the 718S, and a lot of you will want to know how this compares with the 240. What you've got to bear in mind is there is now a wait for a 240i. I think when I spoke to BMW yesterday, they said the earliest we could get one in was May or June. So it's not nowhere near as long away as this car, but nevertheless there is now a wait because they've all sold out. They reduced the price by 20% or whatever somehow. So yeah, when I do get the chance to test drive this the 240, it will be a case of, I think the 240 will be more like a Golf R, where the Golf R is trying to be an all-rounder, whereas this car isn't trying to be anything other than an M car. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video as much as I've enjoyed making the video. As usual, let me know in your comments what you think, and we'll discuss it. Cheers.